Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Litter Media Live. I'm your host, Mike Smith, and today we are talking with Kelley VanHoose of the Ross County Senior Fair Board. She's also a liaison to the Junior Fair Livestock Committee, and Livestock Committee member Kacey Shaffer. Going to be talking about some changes for this year's livestock sale at the Ross County Fair. There were some changes last year. They've tweaked some things for the 2024 edition. Our interview today is brought to you by Pickaway Ross Career and Technology Center, Adult Education. Back with more after this.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
We're back with Kelley and Kacey. Welcome. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Kelley's been here before. This is Kacey's first time.
It is.
And Kacey's a teacher, so... You've had much more hostile crowds
I have.
than Aaron,
crowd of
Glandon, and I today. So
yes.
There's been more changes for this year's livestock sale at the Ross County Fair. If you want to take the time to run through those, that's why we're here.
Okay. So we want to go over the sale dates and times first. On August 8th, Thursday at 6 p.m., we will have our hog sale. On Friday evening, starting at 6 p.m., we will have beef first, then our dairy, goats, and lambs. And on Saturday morning, starting at 9 a.m., we'll go with our turkeys, chickens, and then rabbits. We met with some buyers over the winter to decide what changes we wanted to make for the 2024 fair. The first change, we work with the auction company, and they are going to come on site to the fairgrounds earlier this year. On Monday and Tuesday, and Wednesday, they will have office hours in the auction office in the show arena from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., which will be different from last year. Mm-hmm. Buyers can stop by that office during those hours to register as a buyer for the sales later in the week, or they can stop by and make their add-ons ahead of the sales. So that way they can hopefully cut down on the line that we had last year. On our other change is starting July 22nd through August 23rd. We're going to have a whole month this year. Buyers can contact American Realty and Auction Company directly in their office, and they will be able to do add-ons over the phone. So they'll even be able to do that for a week after the fair. We are going to have a member of sale committee on the auction block with the auction company this year to help with the pronunciation of buyer names and exhibitor names, both. That was something that was brought up many times, so we do want to help with that this year. And the last thing, on October 2nd and 3rd, we are going to offer in-person check pickup for our exhibitors at the multipurpose building at the fairgrounds. We will announce the hours closer to those dates, but exhibitors and their parents will be able to come and sign that they picked those checks up, and then American Auction and Realty Company will be here in Ohio. They're from Tennessee, but they'll be here in Ohio at that time, and they will be able to make any corrections if there are corrections that need to be made.
Now, these are changes this year as opposed to last year, but if you are a buyer that maybe wasn't here for the first change last year, what's the big difference in what we've seen these 2 years as opposed to the way the sale was done in the past? I mean, it was a local.
It was the sale committee. Yeah. The sale committee did operate the sale in the past. That's a lot of work. Yeah. That takes a lot of people to run that sale. Last year our sales were over $1 million. Over $1 million. Wow. $1 million. So that's a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time to process that through. And American Realty and Auction Company is a professional company that does that. So they have the ability to do that much more efficiently than we could.
Because I always went in on the fairgrounds and did an interview with the sale committee chair each year. their location moved into kind of like an auxiliary building that was
Yes.
put in last year.
Yes. So the auction company took over the old sale office that's in the front corner of the large animal show arena. And that's where they'll be during the week to stop by and visit them. But the sale committee that used to operate out of that office now works out of a brown barn that sits between the show arena and the sheep barn.
So if they want to get a hold of you guys, that's where they go.
That's where they go. And they can stop by there for show bills and sale bills. That's what we work on now.
Kelley, you mentioned that you are a liaison from the Senior Fair Board to the Junior Fair Board Sale Committee. What is that liaison? What's your responsibilities?
Well, for instance, each Fair Board member is kind of assigned to a certain area that they have an interest in. And of course, I've been on the sale block for many years because my dad did the auctions for the Ross County Fair for 28 years. So I thought, hey, that's my niche there. That's where I need to be, is to help these guys out. So I'm very happy to be back and to help out with that. So that's been a real blessing. So I'm at all the meetings and I just help assist and just trying to get the word out. And we know we have a lot of areas that we need to work on to make this a little smoother transition. But we're very dedicated to make this work and to make it so much easier for the buyers, because we could not do this without our buyers. Yes. Ross County is just tremendous. The support we get is just amazing for these kids, and we could not be more appreciative. And I know the kids and the families are too.
Sure.
So we encourage people, if they have any questions, they can call us at any time, and we would be happy to, answer their questions, or, if they have a suggestion or even a problem, please call us, because we want to know.
Yes.
And Kacey's done a fantastic job of getting everything together, because it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
Any contracts, like with this auction company, that's done through the Senior Fair Board, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
But a lot of suggestions, that comes from the sale committee. Am I assuming that correctly?
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we collect that information and work with the buyers directly.
Right. Now, I'm guessing you were a 4-H'er.
I was.
What did you
I
take to the fair?
I took hogs.
Okay, all the years that you were a
Yes.
4-H'er? Yeah. So I won't ask you how many years ago that was, but what made you want to take on all this work to get this done every year?
I thoroughly enjoyed my time in 4-H and FFA, and I went to school. My undergrad is in agriculture education, but that's not the path that I went down with my career, and I ended up in special education. So this was a way for me and my time away from the school building to still be involved in that and help out with the kids that are coming through now, because it was very important to me, and it changed me in a lot of ways, being a member and participating in the fair. And I just want to be able to give that opportunity to kids in Ross County.
Kelley, do you have a similar story?
Of course. I grew up taking pigs as well, all the years that I could be in 4-H. I even showed an open show before I was old enough to be in actual 4-H. And it's funny. I've told my husband here recently different things on our farm that I learned that through 4-H. I know how to do that because of 4-H. And I even have a sign in my yard that some people have that says I got my start in 4-H. Yeah. And it's so true. And it does last with you into your adulthood. There's a lot of great positives that come out of it. So fair is always very important. And I think anyone who is involved with the fair, who donates their time, it's in their blood. It's their heart and soul, because you want it always to make it better each year and to improve. And it's one of a kind. I think Ross County is to feel this way about 4-H.
You mentioned, Kelley, a little bit earlier about the buyers.
Yes.
What if somebody out there, maybe a new business to our community, that says, I'd like to get in on that. I've never done this before. Walk them through that that process?
Oh, goodness. And Kacey may be the best one for this, but
Contacting American Realty and Auction
Yes.
Company ahead of the fair, or stopping by that office if they're out at the fair early in the week, so that they can get registered. If they're interested in finding out ahead of time before the fair, we do have buyer packets that are being mailed out today. And so those will be arriving to our buyers from last year very soon. But if someone wasn't a buyer previously and they're interested in a buyer packet to get that information, there is a list of exhibitors in the buyer packet, so they help them plan. And they can call one of our sale committee members, has extras, and they can drop that in the mail.
When I asked that question, of course, covering the fair over 40 years, you see a lot of things. Some of them are funny, some of them are not so funny. But looking back, it wasn't funny at the time, but one of the funny stories that I think back now, one of our radio station employees, it was his job one year to buy. Well, he was trying to buy the carcass hog. And the way he thought that it worked was not the way it worked. And it didn't turn out the way that we thought it was going to. So that's kind of where I was going. For someone who's never experienced a livestock sale before, it probably would be a good idea to know how this works beforehand.
Yes.
Yeah.
And usually it's by the dollar amount anymore is how they do it to keep it all straight. And, you know, we do encourage, as we have done in the past, of having multiple buyers. So if you have one exhibitor and you may have 5, 6, maybe more buyers who want to go in on that, and then that's split evenly, that is always still encouraged to do, because it just helps out in the whole realm of it, that the businesses have more money to go around for the other kids as well.
Yeah, we've seen political parties. We've seen almost like villages of business people coming together to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, so for example, Frankfurt merchants, they pool their money together and then they'll buy under one buyer number. Bainbridge merchants, Huntington Township merchants do that.
Greenfield merchants.
Greenfield, you know, Chris Klein has been involved for a long time, and he operates theirs a little differently, as far as he may put up different buyer numbers, different businesses that want to put on certain kids. So there are different groups out there that really, they take a lot of time before the fair to plan. And that exhibitor list is key for them, because they're going to plan out their kids and their communities, and they know how much they have to spend, and they will split that up amongst those kids.
You mentioned Greenfield, which is actually in Highland County, but so many kids, for example, that go to McLean High School, they might live in South Salem, which is in Ross County, but that's where their 4-H group is, but they reach out and are touched by the Greenfield community.
I'm one of those kids. Yes, and my children, and now starting to get to grandchildren that will be in the same boat. So it's funny how that kind of works, because at Greenfield, you've got kids that go to Washington Courthouse, the Fayette County Fair, and then of course the Highland County Fair. So great people. Again, we're blessed to have the support.
That's something else that over the years that people may not understand, that you can be in a 4-H group in Ross County, but you might live in another county, and vice versa.
Yes.
It depends on where you go to school.
Right. Kelley, you had some other information to share with us, something that's familiar to people, the catalog and the schedule. That's very important to know what is happening each year at the fair.
Yes, very much so. Our books are in, and we will have these throughout Ross County, and you can always stop out at the fair office and pick those up. And then, of course, our schedule of events. These are always very handy. I am always going through this thing throughout the fair week to make sure that I'm where I need to be and what's going on. So very handy information to have. So I know we're all getting those out this week because they just came in. Yes. Also, camping packets. Now, today is the last day for this week to pick up your camping packets. They will be open at the Fair Board office from 1 to 6 today, and then we will be back in the office on July 20th from 9 to 12. So you can come in, you can buy ride tickets, extra ride tickets, wristbands, all that good stuff. So you're ready to go. Golf cart permits. So get out there if you can and get those picked up.
So if you're watching it live today, but if you're watching it later today, Kelley references July the 10th, but again, another opportunity and the date that you mentioned to get that information. Is the fair office open as of now, July 10th, through the fair, or?
Yes, she is open.
Okay.
She is open every day. So, and people can call there or stop in anytime after work. So I wish I had the exact time of her office hours, but she's there.
Okay, very good. Anything else you want to touch on about the changes this year, or things that are coming up for the fair that we haven't touched on?
No, we're just very excited. We've been working really hard all year. The fair doesn't end on Sunday of Fair Week when we move those campers home. And we've been working really hard, and we're excited. And people can reach out to sale committee members. The buyer packet has information on how to reach us, but we can also be found on Facebook. We have a new Ross County Junior Fair Sale Committee Facebook page that we started in April, and we encourage people to follow along there. We'll post updates and information for both buyers and our exhibitors.
Kelley, final thought?
Yes. We do encourage the buyers to open those packets. When you get them, open them up and see what's really in there. We've come to find out that a lot of the buyers want to wait till the week of the fair, and then it's like, oh, I didn't know I could do this or that. So it is important to open those packets, and you'll all be getting information that has all this on it, of all the dates and times and whatnot. So good stuff, important stuff, and it's going to be here very soon.
It'll be here before you know it.
It will.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of the other counties in our area, of course, have already either had their fairs or are having them, but Ross County will be here before you know it. Our guest today, Kelley VanHoose, also Kacey Shaffer of the Ross County Junior Fair Committee, Sale Committee, and Senior Fair Board. They've been our guests on a special edition of Litter Media Live, brought to you by Pickaway Ross Career and Technology Center. I'm Mike Smith.